Right now, the humidity returns this Saturday, and so does the sunshine, but not for long. Chris is tracking a string of storm chances, our first in nearly a week.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning, and thanks for starting your day here with us on News 3 Now. It's Saturday, July 27th. I'm Keely Arthur, in with a very dapper Chris Reese with the bow tie. Love it.
Well, thank you very much, Keely. You look nice yourself this morning.
Thank you. And nice weather as well.
Yes, I was going to say a light blue morning for light blue skies. So that's what we're going to see, at least for a time today. I cannot rule out a chance for some showers and thunderstorms later on this afternoon. In the meantime, things are very clear. The temperature 75 degrees, winds out of the south and southwest at 8 miles per hour. That southerly wind is keeping us warm through the overnight hours. A lot of those temperatures were not able to fall into the upper 60s. It's the low 70s for most of us out there right now. Janesville at 70, Mineral Point also at 70, Camp Douglas at 73. There are no showers or thunderstorms out there at the moment. I do believe that may change closer towards the afternoon and evening. Not everyone gets in on the shower and thunderstorm activity, but the chance is there. And there's also a marginal risk for some of these showers and storms to be on the severe side as we go through the afternoon. So we're going to pay close attention to that. But as you plan your day, it's still going to be a good day. Most of the day will be dry. We won't see those chances for the storms until the late afternoon and early evening.
So maybe if you have any outdoor activities, plan them to do them in the morning.
Yeah, the morning earlier in the day is going to be better. Even if they are planned in the afternoon, you may have a shower that comes through that lasts for a couple minutes. That'll be it.
Go right back outside.
Go right
after
back
that.
outside.
All right, thanks so much,
My
Chris.
pleasure.
Well, into the Channel 3000 Alert Center overnight, at least 8 people are dead after multiple strong earthquakes hit the Philippines today. Dozens more are injured, and there's substantial damage to the northern Philippines province, where the quakes happened a couple of hours apart. The region's mayor said around 60 people were hurt. Right now, wounded people are still being brought in to area doctors. Now, Philippine seismologists say the earthquakes measured 5.4 and 5.9. The Philippines are part of what's called the Pacific Ring of Fire, which has one of the world's most active fault lines. Back in Wisconsin, and new this morning, we're learning just how bad business is for the state dairy farmers. New numbers show an average of 3 farms go out of business each day. Now, Senator Ron Johnson says the state's dairy farmers are stuck in the trenches. He's hoping a new trade policy can help lift them out. He says lowering barriers to sell to other countries will help farmers and manufacturers, and that everyone would get a boost from ending uncertainty caused by trade wars.
They're in a tough position right now. Prices had already been depressed, and the tariffs and the retaliation has just made it that much worse.
The Trump administration's proposed USMCA agreement, a new trade deal with Mexico and Canada, would require 75% of cars to be made in North America to avoid tariffs. Not everyone is in support of that plan, though, including Democratic Representative Ron Kind, who says his problems with it include enforceability of labor and environmental standards and lifting the tariffs on Mexico and Canada that continue to hurt Wisconsin workers, farmers, and businesses. Nearly 25,000 people in Wisconsin could be cut from the food share program. A proposed change to the federal food stamp rules would affect more than 3 billion people nationwide. The changes mean that it would limit access to food share assistance and make the eligibility requirements more strict. We talked with one woman who told us this could impact her family, who relies on the program to make ends meet.
So you have to spend all your cash on food and pay your rent and bills. There's nothing left over. You can't buy you anything. You can't save anything.
The proposed changes have not yet been approved, and there is a public comment period happening through September. For more information on those changes, you can go to channel3000.com. Tampons and pads would be offered free in bathrooms and at all schools and government buildings in Wisconsin under a new proposal at the state capitol. The bill's authors say access to menstrual products shouldn't be any different from other products you'd find in bathrooms like toilet paper and soap. Similar proposals have been introduced before but failed to get the Republican support needed to pass. A tampon drive in Dane County this week collected more than 100,000 products. It was spearheaded by community leaders who are applauding the effort at the state level to raise awareness of the issue.
As young girls start to menstruate, their confidence goes down. And there seems to be a direct correlation in not having enough period products.
Dispensers in Dane County buildings like the City County building and the courthouse offer pads and tampons for free. There are also plans in the works to install machines at Dane County parks. Authorities in Missouri are now classifying the case of two Wisconsin brothers who went missing last weekend as a death investigation. Police say they do have a suspect in the case, but they are not identifying who that is. Another man is also being charged with tampering with the brothers' rental vehicle. Court documents say that the man, 25-year-old Garland Nelson, moved it from a residence to the commuter parking lot where it was discovered. The search for the brothers, 35-year-old Nicholas and 24-year-old Justin Dimmel, is still ongoing.
At this time, we're still actively working. It's very methodical, very detailed searching. As you guys have seen today, been out here. We have had dogs and other things like that working out here. We're continuing to update you guys on the situation.
Thursday night in Navarino, Wisconsin and Schwano County, the community came together to show their support for the brothers and their family. A prayer service was held as dozens of people came out for a candlelight vigil. Happening today through August 4th, some 100,000 people are expected to attend the annual Sunflower Days at the Pope Farm Conservancy in Middleton. More than 500,000 sunflowers will be in bloom in the 9-acre field. Due to large crowds and safety concerns, the event was canceled last year. Now the town of Middleton has taken over and hired outside companies to help things run smoothly. We have ticket and shuttle information on channel3000.com. Peak bloom for the sunflowers is expected tomorrow. And over on Monroe Street, business owners are hoping some hot deals will entice you to stop by their annual summer sidewalk sale. The sale was canceled last summer during the multi-million-dollar construction project. This year, the event is back, and business owners hope it'll remind shoppers of everything Monroe Street has to offer. The sales run from 10 until 6 o'clock. For a full list of participating restaurants and shops, head to our website and search Monroe Street. Miller Park is the place to be this weekend as the Brewers and Cubs renew their I-94 rivalry. And after last night, the Crew is only one game behind the Cubs for the wild card, with less than 60 games to go in the regular season. Our sports director, Jay Wilson, described Friday night play as, quote, a heck of a game, and we couldn't have said it better ourselves. The Cubs were leading 2-1 in the bottom of the 8th, but Ben Gamble came through with the big hit, a single scoring 2 runs to give the Brewers the lead. Josh Hader just closed it out. Final score, Brewers 3, Cubs 2. Now, first pitch of the game 2 in the series is tonight at 6:10. A group of some of the best young baseball players in the area are getting the chance to play on a national stage this weekend. The West Madison Senior League team is playing in the Senior League World Series after beating Ohio in the Central Region Championship earlier this week. The Senior League is a couple steps up from Little League. The team is made up of 15 and 16-year-olds from Madison. The Senior League World Series starts today in South Carolina. A former Badger is trading in his red and white for some green and gold. The Green Bay Packers announced they've added defensive lineman Olive Sagapolu. Sagapolu is 6'2", 331 pounds, and will get a chance to be on a run stopper on the Packers defensive line. Sagapolu wore 99 last year with the Badgers. The Packers gave him uniform number 67, and they stuck him in a small locker in an area away from the spacious main locker room.
I'm just taking it little by little. I mean, Yeah, I mean, in this little locker room, but I mean, every guy has to start somewhere. So I mean, for me, it's just kind of going out and having fun and just learning everything, trying to understand what the coaches are trying to preach to us. Every rep that I get, whether it's 1 or 6, I mean, try to make sure that every rep is a meaningful rep. Just showcase that I can play and I'm ready to play. So if my number is called, I'm ready to showcase what I can do.
Very exciting for him. If you'd like to see the Packers in person, head north to training camp this weekend, both today and tomorrow. They start at 10:15 a.m. New this season, a pair of joint practices with former Badger J.J. Watt and Houston Texans on August 5th and 6th ahead of their preseason game against each other on the 8th. The last public practice of camp will be August 19th, and then the Packers' first regular season game is a little more than a month away on September 5th against the Chicago Bears. Well, it is 5:10 and certainly not feeling like football weather in Wisconsin this weekend. You're taking a live look over the Capitol where vendors are getting ready for hopefully a very busy day at the market. Chris has your full farmers market forecast just ahead.
Welcome to the weekend, folks. Today will be another very nice day outside, though there will be a chance for some showers and thunderstorms as we move into the afternoon. Of course, none of those are out there right now. It's a clear morning, but a very mild morning. Temperatures are already starting out in the low and mid 70s for a lot of us. Madison is at 75 right now. Those winds still out of the south and southwest at 8 miles per hour. Elsewhere, all of us except for Black River Falls are waking up with temperatures into the 70s, whether that is 70, such as Mineral Point, Monroe, and Janesville, or whether you're at 73, such as our friends in Camp Douglas. We're all waking up with that muggy feel out there, and it's certainly going to be noted as we go throughout the day. A lot of those dew points are into the mid and upper 60s. So when it comes to the humidity, as you step outside today, yes, it's going to be just a little bit uncomfortable, especially into the afternoon once we get those temperatures to make it into the 80s. You're certainly going to notice that. But again, no showers and thunderstorms out there this morning. So don't cancel any outdoor plans today. In fact, keep them on no matter what you have going on. We will have a chance for some showers and thunderstorms throughout the afternoon and evening time. Some of those will have a chance to be severe, yes, but I don't think it is going to be a widespread afternoon and evening rain chance by any means. What we're watching is this front to our north and west that's slowly sinking our direction. As it does so, it's keeping our weather pattern just unsettled enough for some showers and thunderstorms to develop at times. So we'll see a weak little wave today. The better rain chance is going to come tomorrow night and into the day on Sunday. And then behind that, high pressure actually takes over. So we'll begin to see more in the way of sunshine. But let's go ahead and break down the timing for you if you want to plan your weekend. Here we are at lunchtime today. Notice that sunshine is still sticking around. A lot of those temperatures will be into the low 80s at this point. But here we are now in the peak heating of the afternoon, temperatures in the upper 80s. That's where we'll have that chance for some showers and thunderstorms to rumble on through. But notice they're quick moving and they'll get on out of here rather quickly. Your Sunday itself will start out very nice. We'll see more sunshine, but into Sunday afternoon and during the overnight hours into Monday, that's when we will see the most widespread chance for showers and thunderstorms coming through our area. But behind that, folks, it is a cool down. We are talking temperatures in the upper 70s and low 80s in the week ahead, along with some lower humidity as well. We'll see a warm up on Friday, but then another cold front arrives by next Saturday to knock those temperatures right back down.
All right, Chris, and it kind of seems like we're going back into maybe more normal end of July weather.
It is very much end of July weather. Oddly enough, temperatures are still above average, but I think a lot of folks are okay with that.
Yeah, especially after that steamy weekend last weekend. Thanks so much, Chris.
My pleasure.
Well, us Wisconsinites know how important it is to winterize our vehicles, but we often forget to take care of them in the heat. Earlier this week, we sat down with Jim Ward, service manager at Smart Motors, who shared some advice. We are joined by Jim Ward. He is of Smart Motors Madison to talk all things summer heat and cars. Jim, what are some things motorists need to know as they head into the hot summer months?
Well, it's the old important motto, be prepared. You know, there's nothing like some advanced planning. Before you would take a trip, vehicles, whether you take a trip or not, should be inspected about every 6 months, so about twice a year. You know, if you don't do your own maintenance, if you're not mechanically inclined, you want to take it to a shop. Besides having the routine oil change, whatever fluid services, tire rotations, every shop's going to do what's called a multi-point inspection. And they're looking over all of the belts, the hoses, the fluids, the tires, checking to make sure that your air conditioning system's going to work right, that the cooling system's going to keep the engine cool. It's a you know, end-to-end inspection to make sure that the car is safe and ready.
Right. I feel like we all kind of make sure our cars are prepped for the winter months, but
Definitely.
What can happen if you don't prep your cars for the hotter months?
Well, a lot of the same kind of things. Actually, battery life is shorter in hot climates. Hot weather is kind of harder on batteries. The problem in the winter is a battery loses its charge and it's going to freeze and be ruined. In the summer, you leave your lights on, the battery discharges, it can still be charged back up as long as it didn't freeze. But in fact, the hot weather is harder on batteries, and so a 5-6-year-old battery that's near the end of its life is more likely to fail really in the hot weather, in the really hot weather, than in the cold. So it's kind of counterintuitive, but that is how that works out. Cooling systems and air conditioning systems both really push the working systems in the car to their extreme limits. And so making sure that they're working right, that everything is that the fluids are topped off, that the refrigerant's in there, that the cooling fan for the radiator and for the air conditioner's condenser are working, are all important things to make sure those systems are going to work well for you. Tires are really critically important. We think of tires, of course, just like winter. We think of tread depth for traction in the snow, but in fact, the legal wear limit of tires is 2 32nds of an inch. So at 5 32nds, we think, well, we've got pretty good tread left. They start out at like 9 or 10 on a car, so that's like half your tread. But in fact, on a wet road at 60 miles an hour, it takes about 9, 10 more car lengths to stop a car at 60 miles an hour with 5 32nds than new tires. So not to say that you can't drive with those tires, but if you're driving on, you know, a highway and it's raining and it's wet, you want to keep those following and stopping distances in mind if you've got kind of worn tires. So.
All right. Well, all great advice. Thank you so much. Great tips, especially as we kind of head into the summer months and maybe go on some long road trips.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
Make sure you have
Jim.
fun, but be safe.
All right. Good advice. All right, it's 5:19. A big birthday for a comedic legend means I Love Lucy is headed to theaters. And we're getting a first look at the documentary highlighting the scary side of social media. Plus, there are several shows and movies you should find time for this weekend. Will is in next with 3 things to watch. That's just ahead in trending news next on News 3 Now this morning, Saturday. Welcome back. Topping this morning's entertainment headlines, the first trailer for Harriet is out. The biopic chronicles the likes of Harriet Tubman and shows that the abolitionist journey toward freedom. Black Nativity is scheduled to arrive in theaters November 1st. Lucille Ball would have turned 108 next week, and to celebrate, you can head to theaters. I Love Lucy, a colorized celebration, is showing on August 6th. Fans will be able to see 5 classic episodes and never before seen material. And what happens to your personal information when you share your world through your keyboard? The new documentary, The Great Hack, follows the personal journeys of those involved in the Cambridge Analytic Facebook data scandal. You can watch the documentary on Netflix right now. Our Will Loper has some great picks for us to watch right now. Here's 3 things to watch from Will.
When I found you, your very human brain was miraculously intact.
New on home video this week is Alita Battle Angel.
It's the loneliest feeling not to know who you are.
In time, you'll remember.
A cyborg awakens with no memories and must unlock the secrets of her past to discover who she really is and what she is capable of.
She's the last of her kind. She contains technology that have been lost for 300 years. They will come for you.
I'll have to face them head on. I'm gonna need you to stand way back.
Tonight is not a game. It is a hunt.
Alita Battle Angel is available to rent or buy everywhere now.
Who has seen an advertisement that has convinced you that your microphone is listening to your conversations?
Newly streaming on Netflix this week is The Great Hack.
The reason why Google and Facebook are the most powerful companies in the world is because last year data surpassed oil in value.
The documentary explores the Cambridge Analytica scandal and how data can be misused and weaponized.
Data is the most valuable asset on Earth.
We targeted those whose minds we thought we could change until they saw the world the way we wanted them to.
The Great Hack is available to stream on Netflix now.
This is about the integrity of our democracy.
These platforms which were created to connect us have now been weaponized. It's impossible to know what is what.
Maggie Carpenter is walking down the aisle. Seems very confident in her approach. She's at the first pew. Bride seems to be a bit hesitant. She's turning. She's turning in. Oh, she's running.
Where's she going?
Lock the door!
Finally, today marks the 20-year anniversary of Runaway Bride.
She likes to dump grooms right at the altar. Plows down the aisle, knocking old ladies out of her way like the running of the bulls in Pamplona.
I'm profoundly and irreversibly screwed up.
Julia Roberts stars as Maggie, a woman who's left a string of fiancés at the altar, and Richard Gere co-stars as a reporter who comes to write a story on her.
You're gonna do the same thing to number 4 that you did to the previous 3. And I'm not leaving until you do.
He's an attractive man. The vicious reporter is attractive.
I like his tight butt.
Grandma?
Well, I do.
What do you think?
It works.
Oh.
Runaway Bride is available to rent or buy everywhere now.
Unbelievable. She got to you, too.
Happy watching. Those are the 3 things you need to watch. And this is Will Loper for News 3 Now this morning.
There is much more ahead on News 3 Now. Next, we're running through the morning's top stories, including the reason you might want to take a trip up north this weekend. Plus, if you're heading to this morning's farmers market, a heads up, you might not be able to park in your usual spot. We'll explain the fallout continuing from last week's explosion when News 3 Now this morning returns. Right now, one home at a time. We head to Milwaukee, where hundreds of homes have been revitalized because of a chance encounter between two incredible people.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now This Morning.
Good morning. It's July 27th. I'm Keely Arthur. We'll get a check on your first alert forecast in just a second with Chris. But first, here are 3 things to know as you start your day. At least 8 people are dead after multiple strong earthquakes hit the Philippines this morning. Dozens more are injured, and there's substantial damage to the northern Philippines province, where the quakes happened a couple of hours apart. Now, the Philippines are part of what's called the Pacific Ring of Fire, which has one of the world's most active fault lines. Back home, we're learning just how bad business is for the state's dairy farmers. New numbers show an average of 3 farms go out of business each day. Senator Ron Johnson says the state's dairy farmers are stuck in the trenches. He's hoping a new trade policy can help lift them out. He says lowering barriers to sell to other countries will help farmers and manufacturers, and that everyone would get a boost from ending uncertainty caused by the trade wars. And you can take a road trip up north this weekend for a first look at the Matt LaFleur era for the Packers. Training camp, which is open to the public, continues today and tomorrow at 10:15 a.m. It's on the campus of St. Norbert College in De Pere. The last public practice of camp will be August 19th, and then the Packers' first regular season game is a little more than a month away on September 5th against the Chicago Bears. Now here's meteorologist Chris Reese with your Saturday forecast. Hi, Chris.
Hello. Football season coming in quickly, but it still feels very much like summer as you step outside. Temperatures starting out in the mid-70s this morning. Winds staying out of the south are going to keep things warm as we go throughout the day. 70 in Janesville, Monroe, and Mineral Point, 71 in Platteville. All of us are actually in the 70s with the exception of a cooler. Black River Falls, 1 degree away from 70 right now. Let's go through the rest of the day. We're going to be watching the radar just for the chance for some showers and thunderstorms to develop. That'll be mainly towards this afternoon. There are no showers and thunderstorms out there now, but in time, we'll see some of those beginning to develop around central Wisconsin and work their way towards the south. As they do so, we will run the risk of some of those being strong to severe. It's a marginal risk, which means not every storm will get in on that possibility, but nonetheless, we will keep a very close eye on that. The best chance of showers and thunderstorms comes after 4 o'clock today. In the meantime, expect plenty of sunshine and very warm temperatures. Keely.
All right. Thank you so much, Chris. A heads up for anyone driving to this morning's farmers market. Your usual east side parking spot on the route you take to get there might be closed. The 700 block of East Main Street is shut down for up to 2 months for cleanup from last Friday's fire at the Blount substation. Well, CBS's series, A More Perfect Union, aims to show that what unites us as Americans is far greater than what divides us. This week, it stopped in Milwaukee, where hundreds of homes have been revitalized because of a chance encounter between 2 people. Chip Reed caught up with the couple who set out to end the housing blight and rebuild their neighborhood 1 home at a time.
Sharon and Larry Adams are bringing life back to their boarded-up neighborhood while giving hope to many who live here.
When I was younger, this neighborhood had a lot of gang banging going on, a lot of drug selling, a lot of destruction over here, and I was part of the destruction. You know, now we got a lot of love going on.
Love that first bloomed here when Sharon moved into her childhood home. It needed work, and Larry, an electrical contractor, came by to take a look. A first meeting that was, well, electric.
And she says, do you want some tea? At the time, I'm drinking maybe a pot of coffee a day, smoking 2 packs of cigarettes a day, and I'm moving. And I said, yes.
Sharon hired him, but love got in the way.
After I rewired the house, I fired myself because that's a conflict of interest. So I've been working pro bono ever since.
Working the past 2 decades with the help of donations to restore more than 100 homes in this stretch of the city blighted by riots.
But it's never happened here in Milwaukee.
And neglect that left their neighborhood classified as undesignated.
2,700 people. Households.
Undesignated, which means you're irrelevant
Correct.
to us.
Right.
And we looked at each other and say, undesignated, what does that mean? Unacceptable.
The unlikely spark for change happened right on their street.
We see lights flickering outside of the house, drug activity.
And what were those lights?
Crack pipes.
Crack pipes.
Yeah.
And is that one of the moments when the two of you decided, we've got to do something about this?
I asked you to fix it.
You asked him to fix it. Did you say please?
I did say.
It's always please. It's all, I mean, look into those eyes. It's always please.
But to grow a community, you have to start with a seed. So they also planted gardens, even orchards.
42 peach trees. So we have orchards, enough orchards.
In Milwaukee.
In Milwaukee, of all places, correct.
You have bees making honey.
Creating a buzz that brought businesses, including the neighborhood's first restaurant, a juice bar, and opportunity for people like Darius Wade and Henry Hopkins.
Did you ever think you'd be a role model?
Back in the days, I wanted to be a different role model. You know, I wanted to be the biggest drug dealer. You know, I want the little kids to look up to me doing that.
Now, Hopkins runs a different kind of crew. A landscaping crew launched by the Adamses to beautify these blocks.
Every day they pushing me. Larry tell me he got plans for me.
Hopkins has plans, too, to start his own business, while Wade has another idea for improving these streets.
I always wanted to be a police officer. I want to show that you can grow up in this area and still make it out and be somebody.
All possible because one loving couple cared.
What have they done for you?
A lot.
I give them a lot of the credit.
A lot of the credit.
While they credit each other.
What is it that drives you to keep going?
Larry, no.
Sharon.
And a belief that what they've done here is part of something much bigger.
We're not the beginning.
You're a link in a chain.
We will not be the end. And
Absolutely.
so I am so grateful to you.
Chip Reed in Milwaukee.
Well, looking for something to do this weekend? We've got you covered. From a major blockbuster starring a local actor to several area fairs and festivals drawing big crowds and open to people of all ages and abilities. Your Weekend 608 is next on News 3 Now this morning. It is the weekend in the 608.
And here's a look at what's going on in the Madison area.
Let's start with the major just-released blockbuster starring a local actor. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is the 9th movie directed by Quentin Tarantino. Besides movie stars as huge as Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio and Al Pacino, the film, set in 1969 Los Angeles, also includes a part played by a Madison area actor and Taekwondo instructor Mike Moe. The owner of Moe's martial arts studio in Waunakee portrays Bruce Lee, his childhood hero, in the film. As Lee, Moe fights Brad Pitt's character in what RogerEbert.com described as, quote, one of the film's most crowd-pleasing scenes.
Well, if you're looking for something to do outdoors, head to Atwood Fest. This is an annual favorite, and it's happening both today and tomorrow on several blocks of Atwood Avenue. It will feature food, beer stands, arts and crafts vendors, along with a kids area. There will also be music, lots of that, with 25 bands on 3 stages. The kids area will alone have live entertainment, including DJs, improv comedy, and they promise bubbles.
Very important. The #1 reason to go to Atwood Fest, those bubbles. Well, just east of Madison is the Midwest Fire Fest, a celebration of, quote, all things created with fire, heat, and smoke. It's a maker's fair of sorts, featuring demonstrations of wielding and forging by some of the 23 fire-based artists on site. A community iron pour, fire dancers, and smoking hot music from 7 bands. And in Madison's Tenney Park later today is the Disability Pride Festival. More than 50 exhibitors and performers will be there raising awareness for access issues disabled people face every day.
And finally, Grammy Award-winning country music star Travis Tritt has been writing hit songs for 30 years. He's had 40 songs on the country music charts, including 5 #1 songs, Foolish Pride and Best of Intentions being 2 of them. 2 Grammys and 4 country music awards make him one of the most decorated mainstream country music stars to come in the late 80s and 90s. You can see Travis Tritt at the Sylvie later tonight.
Lots of great things happening. As always, you can get this month's Madison magazine for all the best Madison area has to offer. Well, it is 5:43 right now.
That's right. You're looking live over the Capitol. I'll have your full forecast next on News 3 Now.
But first, let's take a look at who is 3. Happy birthday, Dalton.
Well, it's a very warm morning as temperatures start out into the mid-70s already. Those winds out of the south, folks, mean we are going to be staying mild pretty much all day long. It's strong south and southwesterly wind. It's been in play all night. It's going to be kicking up more as we go into the afternoon and evening. Because of that, though, we're all starting out in the 70s. The only folks who aren't, Black River Falls, they have temperatures at 68 degrees right now, but it's 75 in Madison, Milwaukee at 74, Kenosha and Sheboygan, both at 75 right now. Those dew points, though, folks, they are well into the 60s. So if you're concerned about the humidity, well, it's going to be out there all day long. Be prepared for that. It doesn't feel too bad in the morning hours, but once we start to get those temperatures into the 80s, you'll certainly feel that heat and humidity. No showers and thunderstorms for us at the moment, so that's certainly some good news. But as we go throughout the day, watch for some showers and thunderstorms to develop around central Wisconsin and push their way towards the south and east. As they do so, they will run the risk of growing strong to severe. So we have that marginal risk for severe thunderstorms. It's going to go from Michigan all the way back throughout portions of northeastern Iowa today. We're watching this cold front that's slowly pushing its way towards the south and east. That is what is going to be the driver for keeping our weather pattern unsettled for the next couple of days. So we'll see an isolated shower or storm chance this afternoon, and then a more widespread shower and storm chance as we go from Sunday afternoon and evening, and then throughout the morning hours on Monday. Behind that, though, high pressure begins to take over, so we will begin to get in on some sunshine and some lower humidity. But let's plan the weekend for you. Here we are at lunchtime today. Temperatures are going to make it into the low 80s at that point. That southwesterly wind will be sticking around, but then once we get the peak heating going, just like that, the showers and thunderstorms begin to come into the picture. Here we are at 4 o'clock. A lot of these develop and then push their way towards the south and east. By about 9, they'll be out of here. It's not going to be a long-lasting rain event at all, but the bigger and the more long-lasting rain event is going to come as we go into Sunday night into Monday. Here's Sunday at 5:30. This is the warm front coming on through, and then here comes that cold front into early Monday morning. That's going to have the most widespread area of the showers and thunderstorms, but it's going to cool us off and cool us off pretty well. Temperatures by Tuesday struggle to get out of the 70s. It'll be the same kind of theme going into Wednesday with low humidity all of those days as well.
I see the 70s and I'm like, I need to get a jacket. I can't handle it.
Well, August is coming.
Oh my gosh, I need it back in the 80s. I know, well.
We'll keep it in the 80s for now.
All right, you promise?
Yes.
Thank you, Chris.
My pleasure.
Well, we've been asking you to share your morning with us. This is from Gwen. She sent us these gorgeous flowers. They like the 80-degree weather too. Thanks for sharing, Gwen. What does your morning look like? Take a picture and post it on Channel 3000's Facebook page or on Twitter using the hashtag MyNews3Morning. We'll share our favorites right here on News 3 Now this morning. Well, tomorrow morning on News 3 Sunday, it's almost moving season for thousands of college students and their families, but that often comes with a challenge, really hot weather. We're talking to moving experts about how to keep yourself and your belongings cool during that move. But first, this morning, taking a seat at the table, the neighborhood program bringing together a wide range of people from all walks of life for a good old-fashioned potluck. We'll be right back. Well, finally this morning, our series, A More Perfect Union, aims to show that what unites us as Americans is much greater than what divides us. Today, we take you across the Hudson River from New York City to join dozens of neighbors for a home-cooked meal.
Each month, people in Hoboken, New Jersey gather with family and friends for a good old-fashioned potluck dinner. Don Daler got a seat at the table and takes us, too.
What are you making?
I'm making yellow rice and beans.
Hoboken resident Ramona Braxton is doing her part to cook dinner for 100 or so of her neighbors.
Because everybody that goes to the community dinner always asks my mom if I can make it for them.
Oh, it's a favorite.
So it's a favorite.
On the second Monday of each month, folks from this neighborhood and beyond have gathered to share a meal. It started 2 years ago as a way to help heal after a tragic shooting. But after finding comfort in food and community with the dinners, they decided to keep up the tradition. Arlette Braxton, Ramona's mom, has been volunteering her time and her daughters since the beginning.
And there was a young lady at first that was running it, Julia. She just wanted the community to get together. And so I said, well, that sounds good. You know what? I'll hang in there. I'll do this, you know. And from that moment on, I've been stuck. The only time I haven't...
You've been stuck.
Yeah.
Stuck along with John Milius.
I didn't cut it straight. You're right, Arlette. Everything Arlette says is right. I'm always wrong.
She told us that, actually. That's what she told us.
Oh, my gosh.
He lives across the street from the public housing building where the dinners are served and has become one of the coordinators.
I love the idea of getting to know new people and just kind of building relationships with them. It's one of my favorite things to do. It's the idea of like creating a family.
And Milius and his fellow hosts have created quite a family.
So make sure that you introduce yourself to somebody that maybe you haven't met before.
Regular guests include local politicians, business leaders, and members of the Hoboken Police Department. You're here on your own time.
Right. I'm here because I love this town. I grew up here. This is the people that we serve, so that's why we come down.
The food's pretty good, too.
It's delicious.
So if the food is what attracts people, is the conversation what keeps them here?
I would like to think so, yeah. I mean, food's a really important factor. But I think the idea of breaking down barriers and creating bonds with people is something that keeps people always coming back.
Great energy, very positive people. I'm glad I was invited.
What do you think? Is it the food or is it meeting the people who live around you? What's the best part? Both?
Mostly the food.
I like your honesty. That's great.
The dinner has been so well received among the community that locals tell us sometimes there's standing room only. The local high school has also started hosting community meals as well. I think we need some community meals at News 3.
We were just talking about that. It's a good time, especially just to get the whole newscast together. That's rare that ever happens. We're going to watch the forecast. It would be a good weekend to do one of those events, so plan your outdoor activities. We'll see some isolated storm chances this afternoon and then more widespread rain chances Sunday night and into Monday. Early next week, though, yes. That's just all I'm going to say. That is the word for the forecast. Yes. Here's your pet walk. Heidel in the weeds. A beautiful dog right there. This afternoon around 3 o'clock, it'll be warm and humid. Be on the lookout for some isolated showers or thunderstorms.
All right. Well, thanks for watching. We'll be right here at 8.